back on the air. This is Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and this is the 5-Star Food Show, featuring not me, really, but Gary Goldman, the truly yogurt genius.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeffrey. It's great to be here. We've had some unbelievable guests today. It's been a great show.
Great, thanks a lot. And if we're going to talk, being successful in the food business, we're going to want to talk to John Dustin of JED Insurance, because he's going to talk to us about the 3 Ps: process, partnering, and being particular. So, hi, John.
Jeff, I'm really happy to be here, and as you know, food is one of my favorite things in life.
Let's get serious for a second. John, you do a lot of work with food companies, don't you?
Absolutely. We span everything from retail, wholesale, manufacturing, processing, and I really like working with the industry. There's some issues they face, as you pointed out at the beginning. In fact, one of the first things I would say is all of them are subject to some processing issues where, they get excited to start their firm and they start putting insurance in place, but they don't really look at all of their true exposures. So the first thing they probably want to do is identify exposure. Then they work on solutions. It doesn't mean they need insurance. They could transfer a risk to one of their vendors. They could become an additional insured. So they want to navigate through the solutions. Then they should select the best solution for them, meaning financially, because they're all under duress in the beginning. And I think, Gary, you could...
Oh, yeah. And everybody's looking for the best deal. How do you make sure that they get the best insurance?
And the best deal is monitoring their exposures against the solution. And then once they put it in place, and this is the most important thing I see, food service, retail, restaurant, it takes a while to build goodwill, get a reputation, and get orders going. But they should review and monitor that plan annually, because things change, their contracts change, they grow, they lease additional space, and they need to factor all that into a program.
Not to mention what goes on in a restaurant, but it's a crazy world we live in with cybersecurity and everything else, and that's a huge part of the insurance business today.
And that's why partnering with an agent is important. They should give you at least an annual meeting. They should be accessible on the phone. They should assist you with contracts. If you're signing agreements with vendors, wholesalers, credit card companies, they should be reviewing those to make sure that your program covers those exposures, because you have contractual liability. One of the biggest things we see is it seems to go top down. It goes from the large retail stores. They push all the way down to the small manufacturer of whatever it is, pasta sauce, salad dressings, and they require things. And if you don't read the contract and identify what's out there, you could end up with an uncovered exposure.
What about getting in with other groups as far as insurance are concerned, like being part of like the Mass Restaurant Association or retail merchants to conceivably negotiate a better deal?
Can that help?
Is there advantages and disadvantages to that?
If they have a broker they're working with that's, open and honest, they would truly evaluate. So to your point, the Mass Retailers Association has a workers' comp retail program with discounts. There's a lot of associations out there that offer programs. I would say this about program business, like anything else in life. Some are good and strong with pertinent bells and whistles, and others are just, an amalgamation of people buying product. It doesn't necessarily fit your exposure, though. So the proper thing to do is identify your exposure and see if it's meeting your needs.
So it's really like a customized suit, you're saying. You really got to make sure that you're buying something that's not just made off the shelf for 10,000 restaurants. Make sure it's right for what you're doing.
What people need to understand is, even at the smallest level, the small retail store, the small manufacturer, you may be doing something slightly different. You may have more spoilage exposure or something else that could trigger a loss that could be uncovered.